There was a time when my mom put me down and never picked me up again. I don't remember when it happened, neither does she, but at some point, I was held in her arms for one last time. Maybe I was 4, maybe 5, maybe I was too big, or I just ran ahead instead of waiting for her to scoop me back up. I remember it was Nairobi, Kenya. The air was warm, thick with the scent of jacaranda blossoms and the faint tang of diesel from the matatus rumbling down the street. The sun hung low, casting long shadows across the bare and paved roads and open fields where kids played until dusk. Life then was a mix of structure and freedom. Saturdays often meant early mornings at the church soccer league, where dust rose in clouds as we ran across the uneven field. Our parents chatting and friends cheering on the sidelines, their laughter carrying over the sounds of the game. Sundays were often for family and routine. Dressing up for service, shaking hands with familiar faces, the rhythmic hums of hymns filling the air before we spilled out into the afternoon sun. And then there was the market, the kind that felt alive in a way no mall ever could. Vendors called out from their stalls, "Karibu mama, liu muzuri sana," inviting my mom as they stacked piles of ripe sweet bananas, arranging their produce in neat piles with the scent of freshly ground spices mixing with the sharp tang of charcoal from a nearby grill. I would walk beside my mom, my hand grabbing the edge of her dress, weaving through the crowd as she greeted people she somehow always knew. I don't remember the exact moment my mom put me down for the last time. Maybe it was at the soccer field when I no longer ran after a fall. Or maybe it was at the market when I learned to stand beside her instead of being carried. Or maybe it was at church when I ran off to sit with my friends instead of staying close to her side. Whatever the reason, the moment came and went, completely unnoticed, and it never happened again. And that's kind of terrifying, right? Because moments don't announce themselves as the last time. You never know when something is truly over until long after it's already gone. Everything you know, everything you love, fear, and believe to be solid in the grand scheme of time is already gone. The hands you're using to hold your phone, they aren't the same hands you had as a child. The atoms that make you weren't in your body a decade ago. And the language that you're using to understand this sentence, it will be unintelligible noise to someone someday. This isn't just about time, it's about reality itself. Because this idea of permanence, that things can truly, fundamentally last forever, is not just wrong, it might just be impossible. What's the oldest thing you've ever seen? Maybe it's the pyramids of Giza or the Great Wall of China. Maybe it's the life from a star so far away that it left its home before humans even existed. Well, the pyramids, their limestone casing was stripped away eons ago. The Great Wall, the thing has been rebuilt so many times, it's more of a renovation project than a relic. And that star, it might not even exist anymore. Its light just hasn't finished reaching us. But what about the things that feel permanent in a different way? Like a nation or a civilization. Well, empires rise and fall, languages are born and die. I mean, Latin was once spoken by millions, now it's only used in medical textbooks and Vatican documents. Sorry, Dr. Lucci. Even numbers, the most fundamental, unquestionable truths, aren't immune. Zero didn't exist in the West until the 12th century, and imaginary numbers were once considered completely meaningless. So if even math had to be invented, what else do we take for granted that might not be real? Do you ever feel like you're watching your own life happen? From somewhere slightly behind your own eyes? You wake up, you check your phone, you go through the motions. Same hallway, same faces, same conversations, and the whole time, It's like you're waiting for something, like any second now, your life is supposed to start. But instead, it never does. The days blur. You swear it was Monday, but now it's Thursday. A whole week disappears into the same routine, and you try to remember the last time you actually felt something. Like, really felt it, like when you were a kid and the summertime felt infinite. So you scroll, you distract yourself, and you chase moments that make you feel real for a second. And a notification, a text, a song that makes your heart ache in just the right way. But even those fade, and that's when it hits you. Not all at once, but in a slow, creeping way. Not in a dramatic Hollywood way, not in a you only have a week to live way. Just in a life is happening without you way. One day, you'll have your last sleepover with your best friend, and neither of you will realize it. One day, you'll take the last walk home from school, the last bite of your favorite meal, the last time you ever hear your parents say goodnight, and it will feel like just another ordinary moment. One day, it will be the last time that you and your friends walk down after taking that dreaded PAW exam. And it will feel like just another ordinary moment. But the truth is, time is melting. In 2005, researchers at the University College London discovered that our perception of the present isn't instant. Our brains lag behind by about 80 milliseconds, meaning that you never see the world as it is, you see it as it was. Your mind is a time machine always catching up. You ever notice how years seem to go by faster as you get older? Well, that's not your imagination. When you were 5, a year was 20% of your life. Now it's a fraction of a fraction. Your brain compresses time, speeding up the past while keeping the present feeling slow. The moments that last forever in memory, those late night conversations, the feeling of a hand in yours, the realization that you will never be this young again, are rare because your brain has tricked itself into rushing forward. Here, let's try out something. Everyone, clap your hands. Did you feel the impact in both of your hands at the same time? This is an open-ended question to you guys. Yeah? Well, neuroscience says probably not. Your brain compresses time and synchronizes your senses, editing reality so it seems like things happen simultaneously, when in reality, they don't. So not only is nothing permanent, but even the moment that you're experiencing isn't real in the way you think it is. It's the paradox of trying to last forever. But wait, if permanence is impossible, why do we keep trying? We build legacies, write books, yearbooks per se, and carve names into stone. Construct archives in libraries, create time capsules. We send golden records into space, hoping that some alien civilization will hear our pleas and cries long after we are dust. But even when we succeed, we fail. The Salvador Gold Seed Vault, a fortress in the Arctic meant to preserve plant life for thousands of years, was breached by climate change in the matter of a decade. The Voyager spacecraft carrying the sum of human knowledge will be reduced to floating debris long after another civilization finds it, if they ever do. Even digital permanence, which seems safer, is fragile. The internet we use today is one solar flare away from collapse. The data centers storing your memory have expiration dates, and the photos that you took last year may not survive the next 50. But here's the part that should really bother you. What if trying to make things last is what makes them disappear? We once believed that the internet would be an eternal archive. Instead, links rot, websites vanish, and content drowns in the algorithmic ocean. The more we upload, the more we bury. The same thing happens in real life. The more we try to freeze time, the more we distance ourselves from the experience itself. Here, think about a concert. When you record it on your phone, you aren't watching the concert, you're watching your screen. When you take a picture of a sunset, you trade being there for owning proof that you were there. We sacrifice presence for permanence and end up with neither. So what do we do? If nothing is truly permanent, does that mean nothing matters? Well, no, it means the opposite. A few years ago, I was in Oslo, staying at my aunt's place. It was one of those trips where you're supposed to be a tourist, checking out landmarks, taking photos, ticking boxes. But the truth is, I don't remember the Vigeland Sculpture Park, and I don't remember the Royal Palace. What I remember is a kid I met one afternoon, a kid whose name I don't even know. It was one of those rare days when the sun decided to show up in Oslo, and the city felt alive. The air was crisp, the sky impossibly blue, and I was wandering the neighborhood when I saw him. He was kicking a soccer ball against the wall, his movements sharp and deliberate. He looked up, saw me, and without a word, he kicked the ball towards my way. I caught it, barely. He grinned, and that was it. No introductions, no small talk, just a grin and a gesture that said play. He didn't speak much English, and I essentially didn't speak much Norwegian, but it didn't matter. We spent hours passing the ball, trying tricks, and laughed when we messed up. He didn't say much, neither did I, but at one point, he stopped, pointed at my shoes, and said, "Hey, you need boots like Odegaard." Martin Odegaard was his hero, the young Norwegian superstar. Wonder Kid. He mimicked Odegaard's moves, dribbling imaginary defenders. He even tried to show me some of Odegaard's moves, but he wasn't very good at it. Neither was I. We just laughed. He walked me back to my aunt's place, and we stood there for a second. Our legs sore and our lungs bruised. Neither of us saying anything, and finally, he just nodded, said something in Norwegian I didn't understand, and walked away. I never saw him again. I don't remember his name, I don't remember his face, but I remember the way the ball fell under my feet. The way he talked about Odegaard like he was some kind of god, and the way we laughed like none of the other stuff mattered. And maybe it didn't. Not for those few hours, but here's the thing about moments like that. They don't last, they can't. They're like fireflies, bright and beautiful, but gone before you can really hold on to them. And maybe that's what makes them so special, not because they last, but because they happen at all. I think about him sometimes when I see a soccer game on TV or when I hear someone mention Odegaard's name. I wonder where he is now, if he's still playing, if he ever made it out of that neighborhood. But I'll never know, and maybe that's okay. Maybe some things are just supposed to be fleeting. A flicker in the light in the dark, a break in the static, a reminder that even in the middle of all the noise, there are moments of pure, uncomplicated joy. The value of something isn't in how long it lasts, it's in how much it means while it does. The impact of a person isn't measured by whether history books remember their name, it's measured by how they change the people around them. The best ideas aren't the ones that last forever, they're the ones that inspire new ones. A tree doesn't last as long as a mountain, but in its short time, it provides oxygen, gives shade, feeds animals, and makes the world more livable. Maybe we should stop trying to make things last forever and start making them matter. Because in the end, permanence isn't just fragile, it might be the least important thing of all. Thank you.